Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about this camera. This is the Nikon L35 Af, and this is one of my favorite point and shoot film cameras, and I've only purchased it for $10. I'm gonna get into why I like it, all the reasons why I like it, if you guys probably don't already know. I made a video on this a very long time ago where I battled it against another point and shoot film camera. Spoiler alert, this one won, obviously. This is an absolute beast, but we're out here having some fun, so let's take some pictures. Gotcha. Now I know a lot of you are probably wondering, why are you shooting black and white, you dummy? It's beautiful fall, early morning light, you should be shooting color, and the truth is I have color film now. I bought some Portra 400, I have it in 120 and 35mm and also 4x5, but the truth is, we're not at peak colors just yet, and that film is expensive. We got some cool colors, we got some nice colors, and the fact is, black and white can look good in early morning light in the fall. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that with this camera. It's all about backlighting, it's all about finding the different colors and foliage and allowing that black and white film to find those tones. That's my little tip, it's my little top secret tip. So Emily and I recently went out to Cat Labs in Brookline, Massachusetts, where I wanted to pick up some of their brand new 320 ISO black and white film. They have it in both 120 and 35mm format for only $6.99. Get it while supplies last. Cat Labs does say that this film is a little bit on the medium side of contrast, and you can push it and pull it to all sorts of extremes. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with the sharpness of this film, the really fine grain, and just the overall attitude of this film. I think you can really do a whole lot with it. Good to go. There were some shots that I overexposed by using the exposure compensation dial, and I was really blown away by just some of the results that I was able to get with this film, which is probably going to hurt my wallet at some point because I'm going to be buying a whole lot more of this film. But while I was out here, I came across a bear that at the time I didn't know was a bear. It's a bear corpse wrapped in a tarp. So if you're a little squeamish and you don't like bones, and you're probably not going to like this little part here, but I really wanted to include it because I took a couple of shots, and since it is the spooky season, why not include those? Can you guys see that? This is not a Halloween special, my friends. This is a tarp wrapped up that looks like a body. It might be. The reason why I was even recording myself here is because I was walking up this hill. I just came down from the rivers where the river meets these power lines. And there was a tent out there, and I wanted to be very quiet. Typically people are just trying to, keep to themselves. This isn't an area where people camp, it's by power lines. And then as I walk up this hill, I see that tarp with some rather large bones in it. I really don't know what to do. So I just called the police department because I just wanted to be sure, some peace of mind, knowing that maybe it's not what I think it is.
but they said that it's a bear. The environmental police actually dumped it out here a few months back, and that's why it's still sitting out here. But when I came up on it, it was perfectly wrapped up, looking like a body. Obviously, you guys saw it. Definitely a little startling, but yeah, good to know that it's just a black bear.
Now this camera is super easy to use and it is packed with features. That's a combination that I absolutely love. One of my favorite things about this camera is that you can manually control your exposure settings. Now you can control your exposure settings by two ways. The first of which is by manually selecting your ISO here on that front dial. This version goes up to ISO 400. There was a second version that actually goes up to ISO 1000. So if you like faster speed films, you may want to keep a lookout for that. The second way to control your exposure settings is by using this little lever right there. That is the backlight compensation dial. That's going to give you an added 2 stops of light, which is super duper handy. It's meant for backlighting situations where the sun is kind of at the subject's back. In some cases, I found a lot of trees that were backlit. I love backlighting, and those trees were awfully dark. Those shadows were awfully dark. So in those situations, you just press that down, hit the shutter, and now your shadows are brightened up. The highlights might be a little bit blown, but that's okay. Let the highlights fall where they may. I'm not overly concerned about that. But that is a super, super handy tool to have in a point and shoot camera. One of my other favorite features is that you can put this is a filter, on the lens. That's right, this takes a 46mm filter, any 46mm filter for that matter, or you can use a step-up ring. Everybody likes step-up rings.
If you guys see just below the lens, there's that little piece of glass there. That is your meter, and they put that in a really great spot. Great thinking by Nikon, because whatever filter you attach here, whether it's a colored filter for black and white imagery, or if it's a ND filter, whatever it is, the meter is going to understand that you have a filter on there and it's going to compensate for that. So that's a really, really handy feature that I don't think any other point and shoot has. If there is, I'm not aware of it. You guys can tell me in the comment section below, because currently, as it stands, I don't know. So I've owned a bunch of these cameras in the past, and a lot of them have just been sort of dead. The dreaded blue crust that has leaked from the battery compartment into the internal workings and just wreaking havoc on the system itself, making the camera cease to work. And I've taken a bunch apart. In fact, I left one completely dismantled, and the inner workings of this camera is so spectacularly beautiful. All the cool colors, the brass and the copper and all the silver metal in there with all the colorful wires. It really is just a truly beautiful system. And I wanted to just show you guys some of the B-roll of that, because maybe some of you don't know what the inside of a point and shoot camera looks like, so wonder no more. So if you guys have ever shot the Nikon L35 Af, I want to know where it is in your hierarchy of point and shoot film cameras, because I absolutely love this camera. There are intangibles about this camera that I can't really articulate. It just gives me that confidence to make lasting images, or images that I really care about. So let me know what you guys think about this camera and where it is in your arsenal of cameras, if it's something that you use often or something that you just kind of let sit on the shelf because it looks kind of pretty. But let me know what you guys think. I'm interested to know. You may have just heard how loud this camera can be when you take a photo, so if you're a street photographer and you don't want to be seen or heard, you might want to grab a different camera.
So let's talk about the star of the show, which is obviously this 35mm f2.8 Nikon lens. Now, they didn't use the term Nikkor on this lens, and that is fabled in history, but if you go to kenrockwell.com, he'll talk about it just a little bit. Our Lord and Savior, Ken Rockwell. If you don't know him, you should. We know him. We love him. We hang him. He's our star on the Christmas tree every year, a picture of Ken Rockwell. And please donate to his website. His kids got to eat. So listen, this lens is pretty darn good. It is super, super, super sharp. I've used the word super way too many times in this video, but I'm probably going to continue it because I'm not articulate. Anyways, this lens, really, really sharp. It is almost devoid of any sort of imperfections. It is highly regarded as one of the best lenses ever put in a point and shoot body. And yes, it is with consideration to the Contax line and some of those Yashicas that have those Zeiss lenses. Those are incredible lenses, but this one is equally as good, if not better. I'm gonna say it, if not better. I've gotten great results out of this lens. Every single version I've owned of this camera, I've gotten incredible results. Corner to corner sharpness. That is a big, big plus, because sometimes when you're shooting 35mm, it feels like 35mm. You know what I'm talking about? It feels a little dingy, a little dirty, a little unrefined. But when you pick up this camera and you take a couple of shots with it, it almost feels like you're shooting a 645. To be honest, that's the kind of detail you get out of this lens. And to be packed in this little tiny, cute little plastic box, you can't beat it. You absolutely can't beat it.
Do you guys hear that? You hear the rain? Some leaves falling from trees. It's absolutely gorgeous right now. And these are the type of days that I love shooting 35mm. I get out and just point and shoot. I don't really worry too much about composition or exposure, really. I just let the camera do whatever it wants to do. Take these quick little snapshots of my life. And these are the ones that kind of stick with me over time, as opposed to, like, say, digital photography or taking snapshots on my phone. Those ones I just kind of end up throwing away, deleting after a while, because, you know, they end up taking up too many gigabytes on my phone. I'm sure you guys experience that too. And it's like this weird throwaway culture of instant digital photography, in a sense. And you know, when it comes to being able to create lasting memories, 35mm is a really great option. And I think that's why a lot of people like to shoot it. That's why it's one of the most popular formats to shoot. And that's why I think the film resurgence has been so strong, is because of cameras like this, and just 35mm as a whole. It's simple, it's basic, it's point and it's shoot, and it's lasting images. You'll always have that little film negative, and there's something comforting about that. So for those of you who are curious how to shoot this, God, I'm like strangling myself. You thought you could hide. Think again. Man, tin pants would be really great right now. Going through all these prickers. The Ballad of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage. Jack Black has such an incredible way of singing. I always thought it was like a joke, like a jokey way of singing, but he can really belt it out. Stylistic choices that creators make. You can find inspiration in pretty much anything. This is not a MAGA hat, by the way. And this is the only reason why I don't wear this hat very often. I'm blown. I'm blown. I blew myself out. I blew myself.